Hi, you are welcome to Arise United Devils. I'm Kingsley Aibokaude. As usual, there are a lot of news and stories written about Manchester United today. So without taking too much of your time, let us just dive straight into the news. The first news here is about Kobbie Mainoo, the England manager Gareth Southgate, explaining why he did not pick Kobbie Mainoo for the team that will face Brazil and Belgium this month in the international friendlies. So now let us read the news. Gareth Southgate explains why Kobbie Mainoo is not in the England squad. England manager Gareth Southgate says Kobbie Mainoo is doing brilliantly but has not had enough playing time this season to earn a maiden squad call-up. Mainoo, 18, made his full Premier League debut on November 26, and he has appeared 22 times for Manchester United since his debut in January 2022. The midfielder was touted for inclusion in Southgate's squad for this month's friendlies against Brazil and Belgium, but Mainoo is set to figure for the under-21s instead. Mainoo sustained an ankle injury against Real Madrid during United's pre-season tour and was sidelined for 4 months. Even though Mainoo has established himself as a starter for United, Southgate suggested his relative rawness counted against him. I think that he's doing brilliantly for a young player, and we are never slow to put a young player into seniors, Southgate said. But he's only had a handful of games, and you have to be very careful development-wise in making those decisions at the right time. So we think ideally we should allow him that space to develop at his own speed. He's not at the point in terms of number of games that Jude Bellingham and Bukayo Saka were when they came in for the first time. But I repeat, he's doing really well for a young player. He's a good footballer. You can see that, and he's getting some fabulous experience with Manchester United at the moment, and he looks a really good character. Southgate's decision comes as Ghana FA chief Randy Abbey stressed last month that his association are working hard to convince Mainoo to represent their country over England. So far, Mainoo has represented England at under-17s, under-18s and under-19s, but that has not stopped Abbey from putting feelers out to see whether the United man will be open to switching allegiance. The second story is about Dan Ashworth. We all know he's on gardening leave. Manchester United wants him to be the sporting director for the club. So the story here is about him, about the money, the fee Newcastle paid Brighton to get him, to take him to Newcastle. And the fee they paid, from everything I've read, is less than £4 million. And yet, they are asking United to pay £20 million for him, which is actually outrageous. Anyway, Manchester United studied firm over Dan Ashworth's demands after discovering real fee Newcastle paid Brighton. Manchester United has studied firm amid discussions to prize sporting director Dan Ashworth from Newcastle. United have headhunted Ashworth, who has been placed on gardening leave by Newcastle, to oversee their football operations. Sir Jim Ratcliffe branded Newcastle silly, stupid and absurd for reputedly demanding a fee as much as $20 million for Ashworth. United sources said last month they will not pay $10 million to recruit the 53-year-old man. Although Ashworth's move from Brighton to Newcastle in 2022 was widely reported as £4 million, a well-placed source said Newcastle paid significantly less than that figure. United do not believe it is realistic for Newcastle to demand an 8-figure fee for a member of staff who joined the club less than 2 years ago. I think Dan Ashford is clearly one of the top sporting directors in the world. I have no doubt. Ratcliffe said last month, he's a very capable person. He's interested in the Manchester United job because it's probably the biggest sporting director job in the world just now, with the biggest challenge. It would be different if you were the sporting director at Manchester City because you would just be maintaining a level. At Manchester United, you've got quite a significant building job. I think he would be a very good addition to Manchester United, but he needs to decide whether he's going to make that jump. We've obviously had wars with Newcastle. They would clearly be disappointed to lose Dan. Newcastle have been very, very successful. They've done really well since the new ownership. They play some good football and it's transformed the club. I understand why they would be disappointed to lose Dan, continued Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But then you can't equally criticize Dan. It is a transient industry. It's not like my world of chemicals. Nobody ever goes from DOW to Ineos. You stay where you are. Football is transient, but you will understand why Dan is interested. It's the ultimate challenge for a sporting director, so we have to see how it unfolds. It's a bit silly, personally. I won't get dragged into it. What I think is completely absurd is suggesting a man who is really good at his job sits in his garden for 1.5 years. That's completely stupid. Those are the words of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The next story is about the outing of a Manchester United team. It's called team bonding. They had a meal together in Manchester. The manager Eric Ten Hag was among them. So that is the story that we are going to read now. Manchester United players and staff attended a team bonding meal in the city centre ahead of their mammoth FA Cup quarter-final with Liverpool. United manager Eric Ten Hag was present for the dinner on Wednesday night at the Ivy in Spinefields, where United players gathered for a similar meal on the eve of the new season in August 2021. Luke Shaw, Anthony Martial, Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Casemiro were absent when United players arrived at the restaurant at 7:30 p.m. local time. The players finished the meal at 10 p.m. local time. Shaw, muscular, and Martial, groin, are nursing long-term injuries, while Casemiro's daughter recently celebrated her 8th birthday. Ten Hag's backroom staff, including assistant manager Michel van der Gaal, first team coach Steve McLaren, and technical director Daniel Fletcher also attended the meal. Most United squad members were escorted to the restaurant from their Carrington training complex by minibus. A handful of players opted to drive into the city centre. United reserved a private room and were served a set meal. United had a team body meal in Hill in November 2021, 2 days before manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's penultimate match against Manchester City. United lost 2-0. The FA Cup represents United's only chance of silverware this season after they were ejected from the League Cup at the second hurdle and completely eliminated from European competition when they finished bottom of their Champions League group. The next story is about Johnny Evans. He is not included in the squad by Northern Ireland in their friendlies this month. So the manager of the club has tried to explain why he did not include him in the team, in the squad. So that is the next story. Why Johnny Evans has been left out of squad and his injury status explained. Manchester United defender Johnny Evans has been let out of the Northern Ireland squad ahead of their upcoming clashes with Romania and Scotland. The centre-back who rejoined United on a free transfer last summer has not been included in boss Michael O'Neill's plans for the friendly doubleheader. The former Stoke City boss has named a 26-man squad, but he has not found a place for Evans despite his recent increase in minutes. The defender has started each of United's last 2 Premier League matches and earned a standing ovation when he was substituted in the latter stages of last Sunday's 2-0 win over Everton at Old Trafford. As a result of injuries elsewhere in the squad, he has now made 18 Premier League appearances this season. Signed to provide nothing but cover as United's fifth choice centre-back, the Northern Irishman has now made 24 appearances in all competitions since returning to the club, meaning his absence from the latest international squad selection is somewhat surprising given his experience. He has earned north of 100 senior caps for his country. Despite a report from the Belfast Telegraph suggesting Evans has been left out of the squad as a result of sustaining a knock in United's win over Everton, the Irish Football Association has not stated a specific reason for him being overlooked. In the statement they released confirming O'Neill's squad selection, they have not included him within the session that has listed some of the names who are missing out because of an injury. Evans last played for his country in October, starting Northern Ireland's 1-0 defeat to Slovenia in a European Championship qualifier. They have not qualified for this summer's tournament in Germany. The next story is still about Dan Ashworth, which states that he is edging closer to joining Manchester United. That will be good news for Manchester United fans. Dan Ashworth edges closer to Manchester United role as Newcastle draw up 4-man replacement list. Dan Ashworth is closing in on being officially appointed by Manchester United as Newcastle press ahead with finding a replacement. The Englishman was placed on gardening leave by the Magpies at the end of February as rumours ramped up over his future. New United co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has made Ashworth his top target to run the football department at Old Trafford. Ashworth is highly rated for his work at West Brom, England and Brighton before joining Newcastle in 2022. His work has attracted the eye of the Red Devils, though with Newcastle allowing him to leave. Compensation still needs to be agreed, with Ashworth having held a long-term contract at St. James's Park. Those talks are continuing, with Ashworth not returning to work while those discussions take place. According to the Daily Telegraph, Ashworth's move to United has stepped up a level. Newcastle Chief Executive Darren Hills is said to have taken a lead role in the negotiations over compensation. The Magpies are remaining adamant that they will only accept a large compensation fee, having originally asked for £20 million to reduce Ashworth's gardening leave. It is thought they are willing to negotiate. And though they are extremely reluctant to let Ashworth start his new job before the summer, Newcastle Chiefs would be willing to now roll back on that if suitable compensation is paid. The talks are continuing, with Newcastle now shifting their focus to finding a replacement. At the top of their list is said to be Paul Mitchell, who has had successful spells at Monaco and Tottenham. He is said to be featuring prominently in the discussions over who takes over from Ashworth. Also on the list is Brentford chief Phil Giles, West Ham's Tim Steidten, and former Roma sporting director Thiago Pinto. The news that Newcastle are now prioritizing finding a replacement could be good for Ratcliffe and United. They will want Ashford to start as soon as possible, given how poor a season they have endured this time. The next story, which is the last story of the day, is about the compensation fee that has been paid to Richard Arnold, the former chief executive officer of Manchester United. It is reported there that he has been paid £5.5 million as compensation. Richard Arnold receives £5.5 million from Manchester United as payout after Sir Jim Ratcliffe acts. Richard Arnold was handed a £5.5 million payout by Manchester United after being let go by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. The long-serving former chief executive was one of the first casualties of the Union's owners' era at Old Trafford. He was confirmed to have left the club in December after 16 years with the Red Devils. As reported by the Times, it is understood he received an eye-watering payoff. According to the club's interim financial report, Arnold was handed around £5.529 million. The fee was officially labelled as a compensation for loss of office, and while Arnold was not named in the report, it is reported by the Times that the fee was given to him as part of the agreed terms for his exit. Arnold, 52, joined the club in 2007 as Group Commercial Director under the Glazers. He rose up through the ranks at Old Trafford and was at the heart of a number of lucrative sponsorship deals for the club. He moved into the role of CEO after the departure of Ed Woodward in 2022. Arnold was previously one of the highest paid executives in the Premier League, boasting a salary of £2.56 million per year. Speaking after the departure was confirmed, he said, "It has been an incredible privilege to serve this great football club for the past 16 years. Through highs and lows, the constant has been the dedication of our employees and fans. I would like to thank all of them for their loyalty and commitment and wish everyone associated with the club the very best in the future." Joe Glazer added, "I would like to thank Richard for his outstanding service to Manchester United over the past 16 years and wish him all the best for his future endeavors. We are fortunate to be able to call on the deep knowledge and experience of Patrick Stewart to provide interim stability and continuity as we embark on the search for a new permanent CEO." The Red Devils have already named Arnold's replacement under Ratcliffe. Manchester City's former chief football operations officer, Omar Berrada, is set to become Manchester United's new CEO. Now, we have come to the end of today's news. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and share the video.